check this, yes. Dream, desire, and do. I remember as a 5-year-old girl, I was not dreaming of becoming a Cinderella or Snow White. Or although I was playing with it, I didn't have the dream to put myself in the place of a Barbie either. But instead, I was dreaming of becoming a firefighter. I never had the desire to become again a pretty girl or an elegant princess or to be married to a rich Prince Charming who most of the time comes on a white horse. So even by then, I didn't have the desire to be married. And please make sure my mom doesn't hear that part. But again, even in this age, I had the desire to do things to serve for public interest, as in the case of a firefighter. Deep down, what was motivating me was not to do things to gain fame and fortune, but to receive applause from the people due to respect and appreciation. So in this sense, maybe it might be a very good idea actually to have a journey from inside out and listen to the very inner voice of ours and try to meet and follow the role models in our dreams. When I was around your age, entering a university was almost like playing a lottery. You needed to write down your list of departments, the faculties, fields, and universities you want to go and study before you take the general exam. And after you take the exam, you were kind of waiting or even praying for your score to match the fields on your list. So I had a lot of friends, for example, who wanted to become, let's say, a chemist, but ended up studying statistics, or who wanted to be a journalist, but let's say ended up studying English literature. Or you may think even worse examples, who wanted to become, let's say, a doctor, but ultimately ended up studying, let's say, mechanical engineering. Or you can even think the other way around, who wanted to become a mechanical engineer, ended up becoming a doctor. Imagine him in a surgery. Horrible. So I said, if this is the case, I have to build a strategy. So I said, I rather focus on the areas I want to, or not focus on the areas that I definitely had no interest. So what I did, I made a huge elimination before making a decision. So by doing this, actually, I cleared away the things I had no interest about. Second, in a way, I simply follow my desire. I just focus on the things I really feel enthusiastic about, reading, writing, studying, whatsoever. And actually, I took a big risk. Because I believed choosing a field and studying for it for 4 years was a much bigger risk. So this was my strategy. But as you can easily think of, bigger risks require preparation of bigger time. When I made this huge elimination, I remember some of the faces of my teachers saying that, how come you're not going to be studying management? Because by then, studying management was a very top, very sexy issue to do. Maybe it's still the case. But I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be an engineer. I didn't want to study management. I was very much interested in studying history, politics, sociology, and psychology. And when they say, how come you want to study history? So simple, because I want to. Although I was quite a good student in school, that was not enough. Because if you focus on something, and if you have a strong desire to achieve it, make sure that you're working damn hard. So no matter how good you are, make sure that you are preparing for it. And I love this saying, which is a kind of motto of my life. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. The bigger risk and the preparation of bigger time, in the end, brought me a bigger gain. I was more than happy to be here. It was a great pleasure for me to study at Bogazici University. And it was great fun to study international relations and political science. A department which was not granting you with a profession, but with a great world vision, which was perfectly fine with me, since I was not after a job or a career, but after knowledge. I remember one of the days at the university, one of these career days, where big companies, even the global ones, come to school to conduct job interviews with the students and pick the very good ones. All of a sudden, I remember that it was only I sitting in the class and one other student who we used to consider a hopeless case anyway. It was just two of us who refused to go and take a place in these long queues that other friends of ours formed before the stands of these global companies for these job interviews. So even by then, the jobs that they were offering were not among my dreams. These fancy job titles, big salaries, big cars, or even tempting job incentives. No, they were not among my dreams. But you may say, oh yeah, you are very much interested in reading, writing, and discussing things, and not bothering about making money. Well, not necessarily. I started my first profession when I was at the university. I started to work as a professional tour guide, which again provided me with the chance to read, write, and discuss a lot about what is going on in Turkey, the present Turkey, the daily life, the traditions, the culture, as well as the history, the archaeology, the arts of that part of the world, which is Anatolia and Mesopotamia, the homelands of the earliest homelands, actually, of the earliest civilizations of humankind. So it was a great chance to be a student, and it was a great chance to keep on writing, reading, and plus making a lot of money for a student for this age. So I just followed my desire, and in a way, money came along. And this is a picture of mine from my guiding years. Usually so interesting that it's mostly the people in your group who take pictures, but as a guide, you never have the chance to take pictures. So I had only a few pictures of mine as a guide. And this year, this is a recent one, is the award of my 25th anniversary in my guiding. So at that point, don't even dare to estimate my age. I believe your desire is a kind of motivation, and your dream in a kind of your vision, and do is kind of your action. So after I graduated from Bogazici University, I had the dream to become a TV journalist, underlining it, a credible TV journalist, not a popular one. And I wanted the news, again, to serve for public interest. So to achieve this dream, to make this dream come true, I thought to myself, I'd rather go to the States, go abroad to pursue my studies. But unfortunately, that was the time my father had badly gone bankrupt. So he didn't have a penny to spend on my education. So if you don't have a family who can sponsor your education expenses, you'd rather be good enough to have some other people to sponsor your education. So this is exactly what I did, or which I had to. I won the Fulbright scholarship, which in a way opened the doors of a new world and provided me with a great chance to go to the States and get my master's degree at another BU, Boston University. Again, if your dream is your vision, and if the desire is your motivation, and if the do is your action, I say, why not? You make sure that your dreams are big enough. Because most of the time we have the tendency to draw very clean borders for our dreams. So why not? We have big dreams. After I graduated from BU, this is a picture of mine, by the way, working in this montage room, editing day and night. By then we didn't have that much high-tech equipments, spending hours and hours in the editing room as a broadcast journalist. So I'm just driving him crazy. So I said, after my graduation, if I want to be a TV journalist, why not I start at CNN International? Was it next to impossible as a journalism student, originally coming all the way from Istanbul? Well, your dreams can easily turn into nightmares if your vision is an illusion. But if you know and very sure of what you want, which is your desire, and if you know who you are, which means your strengths, And if you push very hard to polish your skills, you can easily turn your dreams into reality. So I applied for a job at CNN International, not for a job at, let's say, at a bank or at a financial services firm like Lehman Brothers, thanks God, but for a much lower paid job at CNN International. And I passed all the entry exams, and they called me for the final interview. Let me give you a small picture of this interview. I remember the first question they said, well, do you mind working on different shifts, such as coming to work at, let's say, 8 p.m. in the evening and leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning? I said, no problem. Since I didn't have a family or kids to take after, not a problem at all. And then another question was, well, you will be starting as a video journalist, which is the very lowest level. You know that, right? Yes, no problem at all. I was like saying, I can even sweep the floors. And then another question was, we're hoping money is not an issue. I said, no, not at all. And I was praying that at least they didn't ask me to pay them to work for them. So this is how I got the job. And then they said, congratulations. And we believe you are going to be the first Turkish journalist who's going to be working for us, CNN International. I always consider the headquarters of CNN in Atlanta as a heaven for journalism. I believe it was kind of my third university where I had the chance to do worldwide news and had the chance to work with incredible journalists from all over the world. This is some young colleagues of mine as a video journalist. And again, had the opportunity to work with great people like Rizkan. Actually, this picture is a little misleading. It seems like I am the anchor and he's the producer, but actually it's the other way around. I had the chance to work for him as an associate producer for his wonderful show, Q&A. And also, as a bonus of CNN, I mean, of course, keep in mind that, I mean, you had to work hours and hours, shifts over shifts, not that much highly paid, but still, again, I mean, money, this awkward shifts or work burden was never an issue for me. So I really enjoyed working there and doing news about Turkey, about the Balkans, and as well as about a lot of other countries concerning different cultures and nationalities. And as a bonus, it's a place where you happen to all of a sudden meet some worldwide known celebrities, because one day I remember I happened to run into a person who later I figured out that he was Dalai Lama. So this is not something that you can easily experience in some other newsrooms in the world. So with a degree in political science, with another degree in broadcast journalism, and with an exclusive experience at CNN International, I returned home. I came back to Turkey. And guess what happened? I found no job. No. Months and months, I was jobless. They brutally shut down all the doors on my face. I didn't have any links, any network in Turkish news industry. And for sure, I was not a Miss Turkey with this height, since by then they were recruiting anchor women from beauty contests, and my credentials didn't mean anything other than sounding scary. So, at that point, I would like to say, in your life, there might be times when desperation takes over your inspiration. Don't give up. Keep on going. Keep on dreaming. I said, if this is the case, again, I will build a strategy. Since I was not after fame or fortune, it was perfectly okay with me to work for relatively small-scale stations. TV industry or news industry in Turkey, to tell the truth, was never been or has never been, and it is still not a heaven for journalists. But if this is the case, you can again find your way out. I did not ask for money or for high-level positions, but I always and always bargained for my editorial freedom, which I did. Which means that, I was not one of these popular TV personalities, which was perfectly fine with me. Maybe that's why some of you might not even heard of my name. I don't blame. But in return, I always bargained for my editorial freedom, which means I was the one who to talk and how to talk. I was the one who made the list on my show and what type of questions I'm going to ask. It was me who decided on all these criteria, which actually a real journalism requires anyway. So for almost 10 years of time, I conducted more than 1,500 live, in-depth interviews, mostly the leading figures of the country. I had the chance to interview prime ministers such as Tansu Çiller, Ahmet Davutoğlu, who was then not a prime minister yet, and many other ministers. The biggest stars of Turkey, such as Tarkan, Cem Yılmaz, Türkan Şoray, and so many others, and even the worldwide known intellectuals such as Francis Fukuyama and Noam Chomsky. So it was great to be someone to ask questions, real questions, who are in power. And again, this job as a TV host and presenter provided me with a great platform to discuss issues, again, concerning the public interest. But my desire, again, told me, keep on going. My desire to read, write, and to discuss things this time made me to start my PhD. So there were times, years, that I was a student during the daytime, going to university and attending the classes, and I was a TV host and a celebrity, in a way, talking to other celebrities during the evening time. So there were two Sedefs, student Sedef during the daytime and TV host Sedef during the evening time. But when the time came, the critical time, which was the time to start writing my PhD, doctorate thesis, again, I had to make a critical decision. Despite all the advices surrounded me not to quit my TV job and therefore ending my TV screen appearance, I again listened to my inner voice. And I ended my show. I confined myself at home for 9 months to write my thesis. No pain, no gain. Actually, I never went back to TV on full-time basis. Instead, I founded my own company the same year I got my PhD degree. And what I'm doing now, which is actually my third profession, I'm working as a media and communication consultant and expert. I'm giving coaching to some top executives and CEOs, giving consultancy to some leading companies, and giving group trainings to specialized corporate groups, managers, and some young talents. And I'm delivering seminars and speeches as a keynote speaker or as a motivational speaker like today. And my areas of expertise are ranging from communication, leadership, to media relations, art of persuasion, and corporate reputation. And I have 5 books published, one of which is my doctoral thesis, named The Art of Asking Questions, a resource, a reference for students who are studying journalism. One may ask, what has happened to the firefighter? It is still in my dreams. I'm still trying to be a firefighter, no matter sometimes how the big flames are. I'm still trying to read, write, discuss, and recently tweeting about the public issues in order to build a much better world. Maybe mine is just a drop of water. So why not all of us become firefighters? Why not? Why not we all have a dream, a big one, for a world where all people, regardless of their nationality, politics, religion, ethnicity, even gender, live a much better world, live in peace, freely, and happily. And why not we all fight against ignorance, prejudice, animosity, lack of understanding, lack of empathy, discrimination, dictatorship, suppression. And why not we do things for the good of wisdom, empathy, understanding, good communication, friendship, democracy, freedom, and peace. I believe with such a big dream and with such a strong desire and with decisive actions, we can change the world for a much better place for all of us. Thank you.